let's get right into it. What is LeBron talking about? How about that as just a grand entrance on this? Because there was a lot about LeBron in Cleveland and feeling nostalgic and wanting to play with his son whenever Bronny is available to hit the NBA. And we don't know if that's with the Lakers. I mean, I'll give you the floor on what you think was on LeBron James's mind this weekend. Brian.
Yeah, it was a tough couple of weeks to be a Laker because nothing at the trade deadline, although I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think that there was a deal there that they could have made that would have made a material difference. But LeBron had come out and been clear he expected/wanted a move at the deadline, and they didn't make one. Then Rob Pelinka, and I mean, I haven't spoken to Rob about this. My guess is he didn't intend to do this, but when he came out after the trade deadline, on deadline day, he basically alluded that LeBron was on the same page as him with not doing anything. And as somebody who occasionally in the last 20 years has incorrectly implied that LeBron felt something and felt the fiery wrath of LeBron's disapproval of that position, LeBron has made him pay for that ever since. And then Anthony Davis goes down with a injury to his foot that is pretty much the wrecking ball to the last vestiges of this Lakers season. Now you've got LeBron in Cleveland going on a passive-aggressive attack, firing at the front office, firing at ownership, hinting about his future. I really think part of it is he's punishing them for the inaction at the trade deadline, and part of it is him sending the message, I would not do that again this summer. You better make some changes.
But isn't the roster as it currently stands something put together with the input, if not full faith and credit of LeBron James, the blue check mark, if you will, from at King James with whatever the roster is put together, Westbrook and Carmelo, isn't this LeBron essentially putting it together?
Yes, Rich, and that's what I think most rational people say. But what you have to understand is LeBron doesn't care. Yes, he put it together, and now he wants to take it apart. And he's done that before. He put the roster, he was a large influence in the way the roster was put together his first year in L.A., and that roster didn't get it done, and he helped rip it to shreds. And now he's prepared to do it again. And I think the Lakers are sitting there going, but LeBron, and all of this roster changeover, we've traded everything and spent all this money, and now you're talking about trading picks, 6 years into the future, 5-6 years into the future, when you're going to be long gone, and LeBron doesn't care. I mean, that's just the reality of it. When he was in Cleveland, he, at the end of his tenure there, 4 years in, which is where he is with the Lakers now, he locked horns with Dan Gilbert. Dan Gilbert ended up trading 7 first-round picks while LeBron was there. And at the end, he was tired of trading them. And LeBron ended up forcing him into it because he's so good, and the chances of him giving you a chance to win the title are so, rare and so valuable that it usually gets done. And so basically I know that there are people who are trying to extrapolate from everything that he's doing and saying that he wants to leave Los Angeles. From what I understand, that's not the case. He just wants them to go and push all of the chips into the middle, and that means even if it takes all the draft picks you've got left to trade, even if it takes ripping this team apart, he wants them to do it. And so they didn't do it at the deadline, so now he is putting them on notice. You better do it this summer. And if they don't do it this summer, it's worth pointing out that he has 1 year left on his contract. But we're not at that point yet. I don't think this is about that. You mentioned his son.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Rich, he absolutely would love the idea. One of his father figures at Nike is a man named Lynn Merritt. 99% of the basketball world doesn't know who Lynn Merritt is, but Lynn Merritt is a kingmaker at Nike. He's the guy who goes and finds the teenagers and says, you get a $50 million Nike contract, or you get a $10 million Nike contract, or in the case of LeBron, you get a $100 million Nike contract. And this Lynn has been sitting at the side of LeBron for the last 20 years. And Lynn is, for example, you'll notice that over the last decade or so, LeBron has become extremely interested in the legacy of Muhammad Ali. He's made documentaries. He's sort of fashioned some of his off-court, life around doing some of the same stuff Muhammad Ali did. Lynn Merritt is from Louisville, grew up in the next town over from Muhammad Ali, and regards Muhammad Ali as his icon. What does that have to do with LeBron's son? Well, Lynn Merritt's other major star that he shepherded through Nike was Ken Griffey Jr. Ken Griffey Jr. and LeBron had a relationship when he was first coming to Nike, and LeBron treasured the idea that Ken Griffey Jr. played with his father, and it's still an iconic thing in baseball that they played with the same team. So I think it was one season with the Mariners, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, LeBron loves the idea of playing with Bronny, and it's something he's thought about for a long time. And it's something that I'm sure that Lynn has described, and even Ken Griffey himself has described to LeBron. But Bronny is 17. He will not be eligible for the NBA for 2 more years, and I don't even know if he's going to be ready in 2 years. He's regarded as a 4-star prospect. He will definitely get the chance to do whatever he wants for that 1 year in college. But I don't know if he's going to be ready for the NBA. What LeBron is doing right now is not related to Bronny. He's got 2 more seasons to play. That's a lot of basketball between now and then.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.